What's up, everyone? This is Bill with BLRTUNING. Today's watch is a Invicta Venom. It's got the carbon fiber inside, yellow gold. It has rubies for the eyes and some black onyx all the way around it there. Anyway, today's video is going to be a pretty straightforward video for you guys. We're going to do a teardown video on the ZH2. This is our 2023 Kawasaki ZH2 SE model. This is nicknamed Athena. So basically what we want to do is we're going to tear down this upper portion. So we're going to make it so that way you can get to underneath the gas tank, under the seat, all that. So I'm going to show you all that in this video. This way I can refer back to this video when we're doing other installs, because we have a lot of installs coming up on this bike. If we're installing the blow-off valve or the power commander, stuff like that, wideband with auto tune, all these different things that we're going to be doing. We need to be able to tear the bike down multiple times. So if I referred you over to this video is showing you how to tear the bike down, and then you would hop back over to your install video, like I said, for something like power commander or blow off valve, stuff like that. Whatever you're doing under the gas tank, if you're doing that the plenum from Extreme Creations or intercooler stuff, like, you're gonna always need to get all of this stuff off. So right now the bike is pretty much stock. We've done some Brock's Performance lowering links down here in the back. We've lowered the front suspension a bit. We did some tank pads. You'll see these on our website. Just a universal kit that we cut to fit, because they're not a ton of options for the ZH2 that you can actually find for sale at a reasonable price. So that's why we did it that way. And then we did do some mirrors here. Some little fins for the mirrors, just to give it a more stealthy profile. But for the most part, she's stock right now. We will have a tail delete available eventually, so you'll see that video. But this is going to be your teardown video. So I'm going to show you step by step what bolts to pull out, where they go, and how to get the tank off, seat, rear seat, all that, the plastics on the sides. Okay, so we'll take it into the shop here and we will get started. So I really hope this video helps some of you out. Maybe you're installing something like a Power Commander 6 or an Extreme Creations blow-off valve, something like that. Remember some of the stuff. You'll see a link in the description below to our ZH2 section on our website. But I'm really hoping this video helps somebody out. Maybe you're doing AS block-offs, or maybe you're deleting, maybe you're doing an aftermarket exhaust and you need to get rid of the valve back there and all its assembly and all its guts. You know, if you're doing something like an ECU flash, then you can turn that stuff off in the ECU. So there's a lot of reasons that you would need a teardown video. So that's why we want to do one. We plan on installing quite a bit of stuff on this bike and making some big power. So we want to have a video that we can refer you over to. Okay, so this video should help you tear it down, and then go watch whatever install video you need to watch. So let's head over to the bike, start tearing it apart. Okay guys, first part of our teardown video. Turn your key inside this slot here. Seat will pop, lift it up, pull downward. Okay, that gets your seat off. Okay, and then we obviously have our Optimate battery tender lead here. If you need one of those, BLRTUNING.co, we got them. And we have battery tenders. Okay, so we'll set the seat aside, and then you are going to pull up on this bar, and then the rider seat pops up here and pulls back. Okay. It is sitting in rubber grommets, so keep that in mind. Okay, there we go, seats out. Okay, so we'll set those aside. Just remember, when we are tearing anything down on the bike, the first step would be come out here and disconnect your battery. So you can see we have the positive lead disconnected. Positive lead on this one is right here. Negative is up at the top. It's the easiest to just undo the positive. So we put the bolt back in so we don't lose the little piece inside there, but that would be your first starting point. That's what I would do, is disconnect that positive lead. That way nothing gets shorted out, okay? Okay guys, so we're gonna set our key aside. Remember, don't put it in the ignition when you're pulling the bike apart. You don't wanna accidentally turn it on. Throw some engine codes if something's disconnected, okay? So all the bolts on this are all 4mm Allen. So just make sure you make notes as to where they go. I like to set things in their own little individual dishes. So we'll have our left side and then maybe the left front or mid piece, you know, different dishes, so that way we have everything labeled. But you can throw it in bags and label it too. Or you can just wing it and hope that you get it right. But I take lots of pictures and document everything while I'm doing it. So the first thing we need to do is start removing these 4mm Allen head bolts. We're going to start over here on our left side, then we'll hop over to the right. These little push pins, you push down in the center, it'll pop the center out, and then pull up, push the piece back in and put it back in there, and push the center down to lock it back into place when you're done. So you can see we need to take this bolt and this bolt out. We need to take this out, this out, this out, and that will get rid of these plastics here, and I'll show you how those come off. Got this one up here. Okay, so that'll get rid of these plastics here, and then we'll come back and show you how that goes. And then we're going to move up here to the tank and get rid of this piece here. Okay, remember these ones are all the stainless ones that are holding this piece on. And then we obviously have our intake tube that we're going to remove as well. So here, 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 and then a push tab up here. Got one right here. The front pops off. That'll allow you to change your air filter if you needed to change your air filter. Okay, so let's get this left side unbuttoned, and I'll show you how it all comes apart, and we'll show you if there's any differences on the other side. Okay, so we got our bolts out. Stainless, stainless, push tab. Both stainless bolts are the same size. Both use a washer, a little white washer. Okay, and then the bolts in this are all black bolts, no washers, and they are all three the same size. Okay, it is sitting on some rubber grommets. So pull that one down. A little more rubber grommet right there. So you can see here it's got a rubber grommet here and a rubber grommet here. So now we have that piece off. Okay, we'll set that aside. Okay, now this piece here is sitting on a rubber grommet here and down here. So what you're gonna do, and then you got the keyhole going through it. So you need to pull it back and out. So you can do it with one hand. So we're gonna pull from right up here. We're just gonna pull back and out. And you can see rubber grommet right there and rubber grommet right there. So when you put it back on, it'll go in the rubber grommets and down. In the rubber grommets and down. Okay, so that's how you get that piece off. Okay, so now we're going to come up here to the front and get our next pieces off. Stainless steel bolt here, stainless steel here, stainless steel here. Okay, we're going to remove those three. Then we're going to remove these two black bolts here. This black bolt right here, this push tab here, and this stainless steel bolt here. Okay, so let's get those out. Okay guys, so let me cover the bolt locations here for you. So this upper bolt here was a short guy. That was this short stainless, but you'll see we have an even shorter one there. That shorter one is this guy here. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then you have a really long one. The really long one is here, okay? And then that longer one is the one that is all the way up in front here by the key area. That one right there, okay? The black bolts that you pull out, they are all the same size. Okay, so you got shortest, then the next short one, then the longest one, and then the middle one right there. Okay, black bolts, all the same size. Push pin up here. All this stuff is loose. This can come off. This can come off. This is now all loose, so flip this up. Carefully slide this out from under here. It will come off. This is just sitting on this piece by a rubber grommet. Okay, so it will pull off. You can install it all back as one, but just remember there's only a rubber grommet right there holding it in. See, we get the light on here. There we go. So you can see the light there. You have a rubber grommet little pin holding that piece together, okay? So keep that in mind. So now we got that off. Okay, so now this piece here lifts up this way. It is sitting on a little tab up here. Don't break it. It'll suck if you break it. Like I said, it lifts up. So if you push up slowly, you see it sits on that. That sits inside that pocket. So don't pull out on this corner. You'll break that. When you're putting it back on, line it up on that rubber tab. You can even lubricate that rubber tab if you want, so it's easier to get on there, but you can slide it down and then put this bolt in first. Okay, so we will be removing the air inlet tube, and then if you were changing your air filter, that's how you get to it right here, and you would only need to take off that front piece to change your air filter. Okay, you can see we have the tank exposed here, so we're gonna come over to the other side. Same thing here. Same thing here. Up here is a little bit different. You'd still need to pull these bolts out here. This is going to be just a little different, and I'll cover that here in a second. Let's get this off, and let's get these bolts out. Remember to keep track of where everything goes. Okay, guys, we got this side removed. Remember, this piece comes off first, then this. Remove these bolts. One up there. Then you're going to remove this long black bolt here. The push tab here, remember, push in the center. It'll pop in. It'll pull out. And then there is a rubber grommet that it's sitting on. Now, the first time you disconnect this, it might feel like you're going to break it. Pull up right behind here. And there you go. I would suggest greasing that up. Maybe just a little bit of dielectric grease will help it slide back in there easier. But just as long as you pull it right there, you won't break it. Okay, so that gets that piece out of there. And then this is actually where your fuses are as well. Okay, so if you need to get to your fuses, this piece is right on top of everything. So one bolt, one push pin, and there you go. All you need is a 4mm Allen to get to your fuses. Okay, so now you know how to do that. You'll see you also have some more fuses right there. Okay, so that's how you get that apart. And now you can see that we should be able to get this panel off, and then we can start working on getting the tank out. Okay, so now we have it torn down. We got our panel off. Remember, it lifts off of this tab here. This is just going to be sitting here now at this point. So we'll pull this off. So when you put it back together, this goes on first. Line it up there, then assemble your pieces here and get everything all lined up. Remember, this going through this hole into there. Okay, so we can take that off and set it aside. And now, as you can see, we have two 10mm bolts, one here and one here. When you pull those out, this tank is on a hinge system. So you can see that's how this is back here. These are 5mm Allen. If you want to take the tank all the way off, which we're going to do in this video, but we're also going to show you how it hinges. These are 5mm Allen. You take those out, and that'll help get your tank up and out of here. Okay, but don't go yanking it back too far. Remember, you are going to have a fuel line that's connected. You don't want to break any of that stuff. You're going to have wires plugged in. So we'll show you all that here. And then we do have our body prop tool that we'll be using. That is available on our website as well, BLRTUNING.co. Okay, the body prop tool can hold the gas tank up if you're working underneath there and you don't need to remove the gas tank. Body prop tool can help you out big time. But in this scenario, we're going to be removing it all the way. Okay, so let's get these bolts out and show you how the hinge works. Okay guys, remember when you're taking these 10mm bolts out, there is a large washer. It's a dark chocolate black colored washer on top of here. When you pull that out, Do not let it fall. It will go down that way somewhere and be lodged somewhere, okay? So make sure you understand that. And now, as you can see, our tank will now lift up. If it stops when we're lifting it up, make sure you look underneath and see what is caught up. Make sure you're not caught up here on the key area, because it can get caught right there as it hits that. You push back just a little bit. But make sure you understand that there is lines underneath and everything. So we're going to cover all that here. Okay guys, I'm going to try to show you underneath the tank here. So if we lift up just a little bit, you see you have a air hose right there. There's some breather lines, overflow lines, so 2 air hoses. So we're going to need to pull those off first. You're going to reach in there with some long pliers and get those 2 air lines up in the front before you can lift this up any higher. Okay, so let's do that. We'll reach in there with some long pliers. Okay guys, so once you have those 2 nipples, those 2 little hoses off of the nipples on the tank, then you can lift the tank up a little bit. And remember, this little collar is underneath of these. So as you lift this up, these collars can fall out. So you want to grab them and pull them out before they just fall out and end up somewhere inside there, because they're also going to be hunting for that all day. Okay, so make sure you pull those out. This can lift up. As you lift it up, it will get stuck. There's some wires. You can kind of see that gray plug there. That little wire assembly is underneath the backside of the tank. So as you lift it up, it pushes this that way because of where it's hinged, and it will get hung up on there, and then it'll act like it's staying up. If you leave it like that, you're putting a lot of stress on that harness setup right there. So you want to put a prop tool under there. If you can work on it from that area without having to remove the tank, great. If you need it to go up higher than that, you're going to need to remove the tank by undoing these bolts. Okay? And then to get it off of that, if it does get stuck on you, lift it up just a little bit, reach your hand in here and pull this whole harness assembly. Just pull it forward a little and then lower this guy back down slowly, and you'll feel it click past there and be able to go back down. Okay, so the next step we're going to do here, obviously it lifts up. You'll see what I'm talking about right there. And it's acting like it is stuck now. So as you can see, I can let go. It's acting like it's stuck because it's sitting on that harness assembly down there. So to get it off of there, we need to lift it up and use our other hand and reach in here, pull that forward, and it'll set itself back down. Okay, but that's all the further that you can lift this up. So you see there where our 2 hoses go, our upper fuel rail right there. Okay, so our plug and everything is going to be back here for the fuel line, back this way. So to get to that, we're going to undo these bolts here, and I'll show you how to get this tank off, and then we'll hop to the other side and we'll get that air inlet scoop off of there. Okay. Okay, so we're getting ready to remove our gas tank. This is your diagnostics port. It was just tucked underneath right here. Okay, so we're just going to set that guy aside. You have these 2 plugs here and here. To get the gas tank off, we need these plugs out of our way. So the best way to do it is lift the back of the gas tank up just a little bit. You'll find a 5mm Allen and a 10mm nut on this side. You're going to need to undo that nut. Don't drop it down inside there. Pull this bolt out. Now this bracket can come out, and then this bracket is now loose. You can see how that goes. Okay, so this goes on, this goes inside of there, this goes on the outside. The bolt goes through on the left hand side of the bike and the nut on the right. Okay, gonna be a real fun time putting it back together, but that's how you take it apart. So now we have this can go out of our way, this can go out of our way. We can now lift up the tank and unplug everything underneath of it electronically and the fuel line. Okay, so we got our tank off. We did have to have someone else holding it. So we lifted it up, hold it off to the side. You're gonna unplug both of these plugs, and then the tank will go with that little bracket that the other female plug part are sitting on. Okay, so you have to unplug both of those. You're gonna have to undo the fuel rail, which is down here towards the bottom. You wanna carefully, you are going to lift out on these little fingers and slide this guy this way, and then wiggle back and forth as you pull down. When you put it back on, push this in and it will lock in place. Okay, you don't need to take this red piece all the way off or anything like that. This is just a little locking clip for a high pressure fuel line coming off the actual fuel pump. Okay, so now you can see we are to the top of the internals here. We are now going to remove the air scoop. Okay, so to remove the air scoop, we need to get this panel off right here. So it's just a couple bolts. It's sitting on a little push, little rubber grommet. So we're gonna take that and that off right now. And then underneath there, this will be able to pull all out. We're going to be removing these two bolts here. 1, 2. We're going to need to remove these 3 bolts inside here. So, see where my finger is? 1, 2. 1 on the bottom right there, 3. Okay. And then remember, we do have a breather line right there that's coming back off of the factory blow-off valve. Okay, so we need to get this off. So let me get all this loose. Okay, so now we're working on that intake tube. The 3 bolts that look like this go inside there. Okay. They don't have a washer on them. They just have a little shoulder, or not a shoulder, but a like built-in washer, basically just a bigger head on them. Okay, those go in there. Up here, the black screw goes right here. Okay, so that connects into there. And then your little stainless screw is going to go through your coolant reservoir. Okay. And then these screws are what go right there and there. That guy there. That is everything loose. Okay, everything you need to take out. Things you need to remember: you have a breather hose on top here, you have a clamp on this hose, and then you have a sensor that is plugged in. See if we can get it on film here. Right down there. So you can see I'm pointing at it. That sensor is plugged in. So you want to be real careful when you're going about this. Don't break nothing. Everything has to come unplugged, and everything has to be plugged in, back in when you're done. Okay. And then this just has a little lip. See what that looks like. When we pull out on this guy here, has a little lip. Looks like just some silicone grease, like some maybe dielectric grease, to kind of seal it up inside there. So keep all that in mind. Take all that into consideration. There is another, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, you got another couple breathers back here. Breather there, breather there. Okay. So that would be how you would get this guy off of there. Okay, a lot hooked up to it. So pay close attention to what you're undoing and what you're pulling on. Okay, so we have all of our lines loose. We came in from underneath some needle nose pliers, and we got that clamp loose on there. That's gonna be the hardest one. Then this guy up here, stick a flathead screwdriver in there, start prying back and forth, left and right. Remember, these are plastic nipples, don't break them. And then it is on a push rubber clip, so you should be able to pop that off. This is gonna turn in and out of here. Hang on, let's zoom out. Okay, so this is gonna turn in and out like that. Okay, and like I said, you have that sensor underneath on the back. You squeeze it and that will unplug that sensor, okay? So now we have everything out. You see we have our intake. Okay. We'll set this down where it's not going to get scratched up. Okay, so if we come down here and look at the supercharger wheel, you see the little wheel here. Okay. It's not going to spin like a turbo wheel would because it is connected to a shaft chain driven over there on the other side. So something else to keep in mind, you can zoom in on it right here. You can see This is part of one of the breathers off the backside of the intake tube. It has some mesh stuffed inside of it. You can see there. Don't let nothing get inside that, okay? That is to stop anything that might get through your air filter up at the top of the intake tube. And obviously we have our supercharger wheel right there. And you do have a rubber O-ring. And if it falls off of there, you can just use like some silicone grease or dielectric grease, smear it on there and get it to sit up there, and that will get it to stick there, okay? And then on these bolts, we'll just be using a drop of blue Loctite when we put those ones back, because these are what seals up the housing there. A lot of vibration going on right inside there on top of the motor like that. So there you go, completely broken down. Now we'll be able to install things like power commander, or if you need to take the airbox or plenum off right here, you could. A blow-off valve going to be right there. So there's a lot that you can do on an install when you get to this point, okay? Even like your blinkers are going to be right up inside of here where you need to plug them in. So there's a lot that you can get to, easily get to the tail section this way. So the flasher relay is in the craziest spot. You would never find this unless somebody showed it. So when you look underneath the bike, so right now I'm laying on the right side of the bike. My head is up towards the front wheel. We are looking at the headlight right here. Okay, that's the headlight from underneath. And then the flasher relay that you are going to have to replace is right there. So you'll see, yep, put your finger in there. That's it, right? Hold your finger on it. Stop moving your finger. Yep, hold your finger on it. That is it right there. Let me shine a flashlight in there. So you see that where her fingernail is? That plug, you can see this cable's in the way there, but that plug is what needs to come out, okay? So from the side of the bike, you'll see, right side of the bike, you'll see these two bolt heads on the front of the frame, and that holds the whole housing for like the headlight and all that assembly. That is your flasher relay, okay? So that's where our replacement flasher relay goes on the 23 ZH2 SE. And from what I'm reading in the forums, older ZH2s would have it in this location as well. So I hope this video helps somebody out. Leave some comments down below if this video helped you. That is how you tear down the Kawasaki ZH2. This is the 23 ZH2 SE. Okay, this will get you to a lot of what you need to work on if you're needing to work on some stuff, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Bill with BLRTUNING. Go check out our website, BLRTUNING.co. You'll see a link in the description below and a link in the description below to our ZH2 section. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. You'll see a contact us button at the bottom of the page on our website. That'll get you an email and phone number. We are always here to help. Hope this helped you out. Peace. Thank you for watching.